time to do it. They're making
You're
sure,
absolutely right.
right? So why wouldn't you do it in a marriage?
Yeah, you know, so what do you think about that? Would you make an appointment?
I'd make an appointment. Put it on my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
You know, and then here's the thing, we're kind of joking about it, but it's true, you've got to really work at it to make the time, because she, you know, I'm hearing from her this is a problem. And I think you know, it's almost like when you have somebody saying, I've got chest pain, that is a symptom of a disease called coronary artery disease. I think that that question about the sexuality and the amount of time that you have sex is a symptom of a much larger problem, which is the time that you have. So listen, we don't have enough time in this show to talk about it, but I think open communication, keeping it real, and also, you know, really making it important that your sexual relationship, as well as the rest of your relationship, is important. So I thank all of you for taking the time and giving our audience an insight both here and at home about what you can do. We have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to fertility specialist Dr. Linda Wolf. Please stay with us.
Having intercourse allows you to release a lot of hormones that have benefits to our body. We're physically active when we're having intercourse, so we're burning calories. So all of those things contribute to all the things that we see: lower blood pressure, people just having better sense of well-being, less depression, more likely to be active.
Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi, host of Ask Dr. Nandi. Do you struggle with fatigue or suffer from disease and chronic pain? Do you find yourself overwhelmed with daily stress and long to feel more alive? You can get your health back starting today. As a doctor and TV host, I've helped thousands of people overcome these struggles. I call them my health heroes. And today, I have an exciting new offer for you. Join me on the journey to becoming your own health hero with my Health Hero Kit. The kit includes my new book, Ask Dr. Nandi, 5 Steps to Becoming Your Own Health Hero. Also, it includes a free 1-year premium membership to my online Health Hero community. The kit includes my Health Hero app and a 1-year subscription to Live Happy magazine, $160 in total value. Order your Health Hero Kit today for only $25. Go to AskDrNandy.com/book or call the number on your screen. Namaste.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number for a free idea kit. Endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed or ability. Perfect for year-round health, fitness, and relaxation. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for your free Endless Pools idea kit.
Back, you're watching Ask Dr. Nandi, and today we're talking about how to amp up your sex life. Now, what if trying to become pregnant has turned sex into a chore with your partner? What can you do, and what can you get out of your head before getting into your bed? Here today is Linda Wolf, certified reproductive endocrinologist and infertility specialist. Please welcome her. Thank you, Dr. Wolf. I appreciate it.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. So tell me what's going on. I mean, you know, these folks that come to see you, what kind of problems they have emotionally and physically?
Well, as you know, the human body is so intimately connected to all of our emotions and what's happening in our head. So you take something like having sex with your partner, and instead of being something totally spontaneous and something you both really want to do, it now becomes something that's on demand. You have to do. It changes the dynamic completely.
So what's going on physiologically? What I mean by that is, by that fancy word, is that what's going on in your body with the hormones and stuff like that. What's happening with that with these couples?
Well, unfortunately, you know, certainly it's different. But in sexually active, but they feel more fatigued. They don't have as much interest in having sex, but they're able to maintain an erection. Unfortunately, because it's such a gradual process and men aren't going to just feel dramatically different, often the side effect of low testosterone for men is they lose their bone density and their bone strength. So if you start just feeling fatigued and not feeling as interested in sex and things, you really should get checked for low testosterone because it's really important for your well-being and your bone strength.
And your drive and your stamina as well. What about for women, you know, the estrogen levels when they're down? What kind of problems do they have?
Well, again, you know, our hormones are so much a part of other parts of our body. And for women with low estrogen, we have a lot more symptoms than men do. Men don't have hot flashes like women do, and a hot
Thank
flash...
goodness, thank you for that.
A hot flash is when all of a sudden you just feel this intense warmth and you feel a little sweaty, and it's very short acting. So we have more symptoms of our low estrogen than men do with low testosterone. If we ignore those symptoms and if we don't seek help, again, it's our bone health. And our bones will lose their strength and their density, and you're more at risk for fracture. So women with low estrogen will lose their bone strength, and men with low testosterone will lose their bone strength.
That's awesome. And so here we have, you know, stress being a major factor, as we talked about, you know, in some of these folks and what they, you know, how they can perform in sex and how satisfied they are in their sexual life. But there could be a lot more. So it's really important to see somebody like Dr. Wolf to make sure that there's not anything else going on like low testosterone, low estrogen, or you know, or the combination of both. So really important information. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Very nice
I really appreciate it. Same here. We'll have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be back with psychologist Dr. John Biter. Stay with us.
Making sex more about having exploration and fun instead of making it all about the performance, which too many people make it. You know, I like to use the metaphor of like meat and potatoes. If you look at your sex life as meat and potatoes and you do nothing to change the menu, you're going to get tired of it, and you're eventually going to get bored with it and not do anything.
Hello, are you suffering from bloating, constipation, diarrhea, or abdominal pain? These are the most common reasons my patients come to see me in my office. Living with these symptoms is really no way to live at all. I have designed a free ebook which includes tips on what foods to avoid, actions you can take to start feeling better right now, as well as some great recipes. Download my free Beat IBS Naturally ebook today. Go to AskDrNanny.com/Beat IBS. And remember, make healthy living a part of every day. Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. I'm so excited to bring you a cookbook that was created especially for you, our health hero. Now, my cookbook starts with the superfood. In this book, I first share and educate you on all the great benefits of each of my top 10 superfoods. Once you know all about what you're putting in your body, I share my favorite easy and family-friendly recipes. Now, don't forget, the journey of the health hero is not one of deprivation, but one of adventure and passion, especially in your diet. Back, you're watching Ask Dr. Nandi. Did 50 Shades of Grey give women and men an unrealistic expectation of sexual relationships? The clinical psychologist, Dr. John Biter, is here to tell us what he thinks. Please welcome him. Biter, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So first of all, tell us what this Biter Sexual Preference Indicator is.
So it's a survey that I wrote for my client couples when I first started out as a sex therapist. My client couples were asking me, we need to have a conversation about sex that's non-judgmental, that's safe, and it helps us understand our sex and sexuality preferences. So I created a survey to answer that question for them.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So it's based on 4 sets of preferences. The first set of preferences I call partner orientation. Are you the dominant partner or the submissive partner? Dominant means you just like to initiate the sexual activity. Submissive means you like to be initiated into it. The second set of preferences deals with how you get turned on. Is it more through touch or more through imagination? My third set of preferences deals with how you experience pleasure. Is it more emotional or more physical? And then my last set of preferences looks at your sexual routine. Do you want something habitual and well-known versus something adventuresome?
So let me ask you this. So is the stereotypical male want to be the one that's the initiator, or not always?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked the question, because men typically fall into one very specific set of preferences. So the question I have to ask, you know, as a researcher is that the way they're conditioned to answer the question, or is that really what they want?
Yeah, interesting. So what did you find?
That women have a much more diverse expression of sexuality than men do.
We're pretty simple creatures. Most women in this audience would agree, right? Men are pretty simple? Hey, I thought you were going to say something different, but anyway, so your research found we were pretty uniform, huh?
Yes. And the other thing that the research teased out is that we struggle to talk about sex and sexuality in our
Absolutely.
relationships,
Huge.
regardless of age.
It's amazing how little our couples know about each other, even though they've been, married for a long time. It's just, it just floors me. And the thing is that what happens? When we don't have a conversation, the expectations aren't there.
Right.
But now, what does this test really tell us? Tell me what it tells us.
Well, the thing that it tells us is we need a tool like this so that people can have these conversations, because we don't have them. Like you said, if you've been with a partner for a very long time, we don't take the time to learn more about them. So this helps couples to actually have a discussion around things that they normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's important. The very reason we're having this conversation is because people have tons of problems about this, but nobody wants to talk about it. So that's why we're talking about this. Now, what can couples do to use this resource? First of all, how can they use this resource? Do they have to come to you, or can they go online?
Yeah, it's a free online survey, and what I encourage my client couples to do is have one partner sit at the keyboard and the other person look over the shoulder.
Nice.
As the questions come up, see if you can answer for each other. Okay, and if you can't, I mean, if you pick, quote, the wrong answer, then don't get into an argument. Have
You're going to
a
get a big
discussion
fight.
about
What do you mean I'm not emotionally pleasured, right?
Right, exactly.
But at least you're absolutely right. What it does is, and the point Dr. Biter is trying to make is that it starts the conversation when
Yes.
there is no conversation. And as not always, but a lot of our older couples, especially at least my patients, didn't want to talk about it at all. Now, what about this book, 50 Shades of Grey? I mean, it kind of seems like it was everywhere. What did it do for couples? Did it help? Did it hurt? What do you think?
Oh, I think it definitely helped. I think it brought into, well, mainstream, obviously, but it got the conversation started again in the bedroom. So whether people adopted that, wanted to explore that lifestyle, we'll say the BDSM lifestyle, it at least got them talking about it, and it also got them to explore. So bringing some newness and some novelty into the relationship, that's always going to be healthy for anything over the long haul.
And again, it's not the specifics of the book that we're talking about. It's just that we can go to that place, that space that's not there. Well, besides reading books like that, and what else can couples do? And they can go to your website. What else can they do realistically in their everyday lives to try to, not talk about it all the time, but increase the conversation about sex in their lives involving a healthy sexual relationship?
Well, I mean, there's so many things in social media that you could actually pull up and look at. One of my favorite places to push people towards is YouTube, and there's a video called Flight of the Conchords. It's called Business Time. It's a really funny video about a sexual relationship and this man's interpretation of it. But making sex more about having exploration and fun instead of making it all about the performance, which too many people make it. I like to use the metaphor of like meat and potatoes. If you look at your sex life as meat and potatoes and you do nothing to change the menu, you're going to get tired of it, and you're eventually going to get bored with it and not do anything with it.
Exactly. And the thing is to make it approachable. Either make it fun or make it something that's not taboo. Because in our society, there are many barriers that are set. Great stuff with Dr. Biter. We'll come back with more with Dr. Biter, and he'll give you more tips. Please stay tuned.
One of the things I encourage couples to do is stop thinking about sex as a performance. In other words, it's a numbers game. Like, how many times are we supposed to have sex in order to have a healthy life?
You're right.
Change your attitude around sex to make it about pleasure, fun, and intimacy, and get the performance off of the table. There's no more anxiety then. And take turns bringing that new way of thinking into the relationship.
It's AARP. Let me just...
Wait, are you joining AARP?
Actually, I just did.
Really? I didn't think we were ready for AARP. Is it worth it?
Well, just today, I saved on concert tickets, read a great article on investing, found a sweet travel deal, used the caregiver finder for my dad, and done. Discounted movie tickets.
If you don't think instant benefits when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Join today for just $12 and get discounts. So many ways to save. Instant resources and just the right offers find you at just the right time. Plus, as a member, your voice will be heard. Join today for just $12. It's not too soon.
Call 1-800-440-1303.
And join AARP for just $12 for your first year. You'll also get this travel bag free.
Call 1-800-440-1303.
Or visit tryaarp.org.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Call Health Markets today at 1-800-951-8406. That's 1-800-951-8406.
Attention those implanted with a hernia surgical mesh. If you have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement, listen closely. Some have experienced infection, chronic pain, mesh failure, and other complications after being implanted with a hernia mesh device. Because of this, some of these mesh devices have been recalled by the FDA, but devices are still being used and may cause serious complications. If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. If you or a loved one have experienced any of these issues after the implantation of a physio mesh or a selection of other common hernia meshes, your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-718-3497.
Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. I'm so excited to bring you a cookbook that was created especially for you, our health hero. Now, my cookbook starts with the superfood. In this book, I first share and educate you on all the great benefits of each of my top 10 superfoods. Once you know all about what you're putting in your body, I share my favorite easy and family-friendly recipes. Now, don't forget, the journey of the health hero is not one of deprivation, but one of adventure and passion, especially in your diet. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Dr. Nandi, and we're returning with Dr. Beider to talk about the importance of nutrition now when it comes to sex. You know, we talked about some of the stuff that have couples really approach sex without all of the taboos, etc. What about food and nutrition? What you eat can really affect your libido, can't it?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the common complaints I hear from a lot of couples is if they're trying to engage in sexual activity in the evening, it's after a heavy meal, and one partner might not be in the mood because of that.
Because they're bloated.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean,
right.
it's common sense, but go ahead.
And the other thing is to think about nutrition in kind of, I would say, intelligent ways. Like, stay away from processed foods. Stay away from foods that are high in caffeine, that are in fried, a lot of alcohol, those types of things. They're not going to assist your body. Your body's going to be more stressed in order to digest those foods, which is actually going to take away from your ability to concentrate sexually. And
we've said it in the show many, many times, whole foods,
exactly,
fresh fruits and vegetables, things that your body really loves and things that your body can utilize. Remember, sexual activity is another physical activity that needs your mind, body sharp to do it. And so, if you give it a bunch of crap, it's going to get a crap result. So the other, and he said a very important thing, alcohol. A lot of people think, if if I drink some alcohol, it's going to help. It really is the opposite, isn't it?
Yes.
You have to really watch out about the alcohol intake, especially when you want to try to get down. And so what about aphrodisiacs? Do they really work?
Well, the best way to answer that
I got
is,
Dr. Biter to smile. You know, it's hard to do. He hears this stuff all the time. But aphrodisiacs, what do you think about that?
I think about the word placebos. Do they work? So it takes it all the way into your mind. I think that's how they work. If you think they're going to work, you know, like Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So a lot of it's going to come down to the way you think of it, because everybody's body metabolizes the foods and the nutrients different. And some of them are going to be effective, some of the aphrodisiacs, but there's not a carte blanche one that just says, yes, this works for everybody, regardless. So it has a lot to do, there's the mind-body mix on that.
And the idea is that, you know, you have to really, you know, be involved and really be invested in this relationship. It sounds like like work, but you know, part of it is. It's like after you're married for a long time or have a long relationship, you know, what happens is you have to be invested in making this work. And I think if you need to use aphrodisiac, I think what we're saying is that, listen, it's not going to hurt you. We're not sure the scientific, you know, method will show that this is actually effective, but you know what, if it works for you and you're invested, why not? Now, what advice would you give couples who say, you know what, I'm in a rut and I don't know what's going on? Now, we talked about in the last segment, you know, going to your website and using this tool. What else can they do to spice it up?
One of the things I encourage couples to do is stop thinking about sex as a performance. In other words, it's a numbers game. Like, how many times are we supposed to have sex in order to have a healthy life?
You're right.
Change your attitude around sex to make it about pleasure, fun, and intimacy, and get the performance off of the table. There's no more anxiety then. And take turns bringing that new way of thinking into the relationship. So, you know, where else do you get to be naked with somebody and just have fun with them?
Without them laughing at you.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Because no, I'm just kidding. They're not, I wasn't going to say they're stuck with you, but they love you, and that's why they're not laughing at you. But in all seriousness, the thing is that when you make it a fun activity and you do it, how does that change things?
Well, and let me give you an example of a fun activity that a lot of couples have used that I think is just a great idea. And this goes around to sharing about fantasies. So some people are really uncomfortable about that, so I encourage them to get a book of stories and read fantasy stories to each other.
Like sexual fantasy?
Yes.
Okay.
And so then they can kind of rate them, give them a 1 to a 5-star rating. And if it turns you on, talk about it. What is it that turns you on about that? Is it something we want to try? Is it a role play that we could do together? Or sometimes it's just erotic to hear the other person tell you an erotic story. So those would be ways that I would say you could spice it up really easily.
And evidence has shown that a lot of couples, even though they're together for a long time, are afraid of what the other couple is going to say. So, you know, one of the key things is be, like everything else in life, don't be afraid of failure, that your partner will think X, Y, and Z. You'd be surprised how open they are. Now, what about the health benefits? You know, I think that a lot of people don't realize the health benefits of a really meaningful sexual relationship. Can you comment about that? Is it really good for your physical health as well?
I mean, number one is it counts as exercise. You know, there's something I read that said you get 5 calories for having sexual intercourse versus 1 watching TV. So there you got a bump on that.
And if you
right?
watch TV while you're having intercourse, that's 6 calories.
There you go. So it eases stress for a lot of people. It improves sleeping for a lot of people. It reduces pain whenever you're having that orgasm. You don't feel the pain as intense as you did if you're suffering from any type of a bodily thing there.
Yeah, here's the thing, you know, I think that men and women also feel it up here. And despite men, and you probably are, we're conditioned to say, you know, this macho response, but emotionally, when we're fulfilled, a lot of research has shown that, listen, our blood pressure is better, all of our health indicators are better, and we live longer. So I think for that very reason, I really think a good sexual relationship is critical to have a good marriage. And when those two things are in concert, I think you'll do well. Great advice, Dr. Biter.
Thank
really
you very
appreciate it. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. We come back, we'll take questions anonymously from our viewers at home. Please stay with us. I'll give you another one, Dr. Quart. Does size really matter?
No, it does not matter, and I say that really fast because men think about that all the time and ask about that all the time.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number for a free idea kit. Endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed or ability. Perfect for year-round health, fitness, and relaxation. Call our toll-free number or visit our website for your free Endless Pools idea kit.
TheHouse.com has everything your family needs to go back to school in style. Huge selection of kids apparel. Clothing and outerwear for young women and men from $8.95. Save on backpacks, hoodies, and footwear. Up to 70% off outerwear for the entire family. Cruise to class on a new skateboard or bike. Most orders ship free with free gear. TheHouse.com, helping parents and preparing students from dusk to dorm since 1982.
Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi, host of Ask Dr. Nandi. Do you struggle with fatigue or suffer from disease and chronic pain? Do you find yourself overwhelmed with daily stress and long to feel more alive? You can get your health back starting today. As a doctor and TV host, I've helped thousands of people overcome these struggles. I call them my health heroes. And today, I have an exciting new offer for you. Join me on the journey to becoming your own health hero with my Health Hero Kit. The kit includes my new book, Ask Dr. Nandi, 5 Steps to Becoming Your Own Health Hero. Also, it includes a free 1-year premium membership to my online Health Hero community. The kit includes my Health Hero app and a 1-year subscription to Live Happy magazine, $160 in total value. Order your Health Hero Kit today for only $25. Go to AskDrNandy.com/book or call the number on your screen. Namaste. Welcome. You've been watching Ask Dr. Nandi, and today we've been talking about how to amp up your sex life. And now we'll go to the audience to answer some questions. Now, we actually asked folks to go on social media for Ask Dr. Nandi, and they gave us a bunch of questions. So are you guys ready for some rapid-fire questions? All right, I'll just go down the line. Dr. Wolf, what does the female Viagra actually do?
Well, unlike the male Viagra, which is more anatomical in its action, the female Viagra is centrally acting, and it's meant to target women that have something called hypoactive sex drive. So it's meant to be a centrally acting agent that is meant to have women want to have more of a sex drive and want to have sex more often.
It's a huge problem because a lot of women have this and really didn't have any options. You have to make sure you don't have any medical conditions before you really have this, but it's a great advance. Now, Dr. Court, I'm very stressed out and can't focus during sex. What can I do?
Well, you really do need to be erotically focused. So before you have sex, you really want to talk to your partner about when you're going to have it and be making sure that you're relaxed and you've had, some time to feel connected to your partner.
I think it's really about a partnership, right? It can't be a one-way street, and the key is that you both have to be jiving at the same time. And people, couples often have different expectations, so really make sure you have the same expectation as your partner. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. I'll give you another one, Dr. Court. Does size really matter?
No, it does not matter, and I say that really fast because men think about that all the time and ask about that all the time. What matters is being able to have that connection with your partner, but also when you're entering a woman, you really only need to go through the first 2 inches. That's all you really need. That's what you need to have a good sexual experience.
And it's really important. Here's the thing. If any man in here has had that inbox that says, or some says, you want to increase your size by 45%, then click here, right? And it's this whole myth, which you're absolutely right. It isn't about that. It really goes back to what? Expectations with the couple, and satisfactions is up here, almost always, and not down there. I mean, listen, it's got to work down there as well, but really the main satisfaction is up here. Dr. Biter, I want to give you one. How do I love my shy partner into something a little bit more wild?
You've got to meet your partner where he or she's at. You can't force them to move into something that they're not ready for. So allowing them to get comfortable, I would say start with like sensual massage. Just start, touching your partner in ways that help them relax. You can change the environment of the room. You can put on some soft music. You can show some candlelight. But don't rush in to get what you want. You've got to get your partner to catch up to you first.
That's exactly right. It's a partnership, and as we were talking about. Dr. Wolf, how do I tell my partner about my fantasies?
Well, again, I think what we're talking about is both being in a similar place. I think it has to be the right place, the right time, so that they're receptive to what you're doing. It's not like in the morning when he's rushing off to work for coffee.
Right.
Or, I mean, so it's really timing, I think, is essential in a lot of these things.
And pick your spots and really be honest with your partner. One of the things that happens is in sexuality and getting the right sexual experience is that be honest with your partner. They may say, no, I really am not into that, but let me think about it. But be honest with them, because often people are afraid of the negative reaction. So Dr. Wolf, another one for you. Can I get an STD or herpes from oral sex?
Yes, you can. And unfortunately, many men and women don't understand that. HPV is very prevalent in causing cancers of the oral pharynx. So it's very important that both men and women, when they're younger, get Gardasil, and that dentists are being very thorough in their examination of the oral cavity, because yes, you can.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you know, we have this lot of controversy about the HPV vaccine, and what I say is that, listen, you know what, little Johnny and little, you know, Betty or whatever her name is, your little girl, your little angel and your little boy, do some things that you may not be so, you know, excited about, but that's going to happen. So you want to protect them before they get infected, before, not after, because people say, oh, my kid's so young. Yeah, because you want to get it before they get infected. She's absolutely right, because all those oral cancers and you know, the head and neck cancers as well can be caused by that. So it's a great question. In that same vein, is anal sex safe? And I'll answer that. You know, you have to have protection. Just because it's anal sex, it doesn't mean you cannot. It's not about pregnancy now. It's talking about sexually transmitted diseases, and you've got to make sure that you protect yourself, especially young people, because they think, you know what, I don't want to be pregnant, and that's all they care about. Absolutely not. You've got to care about your health and picking up diseases. So definitely, it is. You know, I would say that if you're talking about it, talk to your doctor about it, and make sure that you understand the ramifications and get protection if you're going to do it. By that I mean get a condom. Dr. Court, is watching pornography with your partner a good way to spice things up?
You know, it can be. You have to be very careful, because sometimes watching too much porn, we're noticing some people, more and more people coming into our office, men, having some erectile difficulties. So there really does need to be some care about it. But watching it with a partner and agreeing on what you're watching and enjoying it together is really, it can be a lot of fun.
I agree. You know, I think you just, again, make sure your partner is agreeable to it. You know, if your partner hates it, you love it. You know, it ain't going to work out. So you've got to make sure that your partner is in tune, and it could be a good way to spice things up, because sometimes, you know, after 15, 20 years of marriage, you know, you need some things, and having those date nights, or, you know, maybe watching some pornography, as long as you both feel it's tasteful, not a bad thing. So thank you for answering these questions so honestly, and thank you guys for sending all these questions on social media. Please stay with us. Partha's Prescriptions are next. Thank you. Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi, host of Ask Dr. Nandi. Do you struggle with fatigue or suffer from disease and chronic pain? Do you find yourself overwhelmed with daily stress and long to feel more alive? You can get your health back starting today. As a doctor and TV host, I've helped thousands of people overcome these struggles. I call them my health heroes. And today, I have an exciting new offer for you. Join me on the journey to becoming your own health hero with my Health Hero Kit. The kit includes my new book, Ask Dr. Nandi, 5 Steps to Becoming Your Own Health Hero. Also, it includes a free 1-year premium membership to my online Health Hero community. The kit includes my Health Hero app and a 1-year subscription to Live Happy magazine, $160 in total value. Order your Health Hero Kit today for only $25. Go to AskDrNandy.com/book or call the number on your screen. Namaste.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, and everyone in your household can use the same card.
Call 1-800-997-9443 to receive your free Carefree Dental Card information kit. Call 1-800-997-9443 now.
Welcome back. You've been watching Ask Dr. Nanny, and today we've been talking about how to amp up your sex life. So, what can we take away from today's Parthas prescriptions? Now, sexual relationships aren't just physical, they're chemical as well. If your sex drive has dropped, seek advice from a counselor or medical doctor to find the cause. Also, if you want more spice in the bedroom, talk to your partner. Open dialogue between the two of you could really open doors and bring you closer together. In addition, be aware that your lower sex drive could be due to medications. Talk to your doctor about potential side effects and seek advice to reach the healthy sex life you desire. And finally, remember to make time for each other. Think about what brought you together in the first place. Show respect towards one another through desires for one another. If life tasks remain busy, date nights and private time with your partner may spark the romance needed to connect on that higher level. To stay informed about today's topic, learn about healthy living and how to become your own health hero, visit us at AskDrNanny.com. Also, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, and join our discussion. And lastly, there's a beautiful word in the Hindi language that literally means the light in me honors the light in you. And that word is namaste. So namaste to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching today. And see you next time.
About going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card, and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, and everyone in your household can use the same card.
Call 1-800-997-9443 to receive your free Carefree Dental Card information kit. Call 1-800-997-9443 now.
My good friend and neighbor, Julie, and I love trying new things when we can. We've had lots of fun ziplining, paddleboarding, rock climbing, and boxing. Boxing's become one of my favorite go-to workouts, and today I'll show you why. Chef Dan Marolo shows us how to make chicken and farro. Coach Diane wants us to stop limiting our beliefs, and we hear from Dr. Lauren on today's episode of Your and My Fitness RX. I don't remember what piqued my curiosity about boxing as a workout, but I assure you I have no desire to hit anyone, and I don't want to be hit. Boxing is, however, a fascinating sport. This may sound silly, but it takes a lot of grace and coordination, and your mind works as hard as your body does. Anyway, I love it. So let me show you around my boxing club, and I hope you like it too. Sheridan's one of our boxing coaches, and I have to say I love her power hour. It's an awesome workout. That's why I'm so excited that you're going to share a workout, a boxer's workout for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so this workout incorporates a lot of exercises that all of us use in here for each of our own workouts. You can do all of it in order right before your workout to warm you up. About 30 seconds on each exercise, or if you want to make it a great workout and in its entirety. You can do each exercise for 20 seconds apiece, take 10 seconds of rest in between, repeat that a few times, and then try it for the bigger one at 40-20. 40 seconds on, 20 off.
I had no doubt that it was going to be a fun workout.
Oh yeah. So we're going to start with the boxer's bounce. You're going to hop back and forth between both feet. Every time you land on your front foot, you're going to pop your jab out and come back to your back foot and keep bouncing back and forth between your first and your second foot. We move on to the U-step, or the bob and the weave. You're going to transfer your weight between your 2 feet. You're going to duck under a punch with your head, moving to the right and the left, continuously under to the right and under to the left. Next, we have jump ropes with varying speeds. You're going to start yourself at a nice, easy pace for 5 seconds, then transfer to a double pace for the next 5 seconds. Keep alternating between the 2 paces until the interval's up. Next is your side-to-side motion, or your slip to the right and left. In your boxer stance with your hands high, you're going to move your body to the right and to the left continuously, focusing on your obliques. Your pop squats, you'll start with your feet shoulder-width apart, jump your toes together, squeeze your inner thighs, and jump out into your squat and continue that motion. Your shadow boxing, your jab cross, your long, straight, quick punches. Pop both out as quickly as you can with small hand weights or without. 180s, your feet are facing to the right. You're going to jump both feet, face them to the left, keeping your chest and your hands high and forward.
Thanks, Sheridan. That's an awesome workout.
Thanks, Tanya.
It's not just a great workout. It's a sense of camaraderie that you rarely find in a gym. Noel Sanchez is the general manager and the force behind this amazingly diverse group of people that come to the club. And his passion rubs off on all of us. Noel, you know I enjoy my experiences here at Total Boxing, but I'm so interested to learn about why you became an amateur boxer and took it to the level of Olympic.
Well, it started when I was a kid. It was just more about impressing my dad and his brothers. They would all come to the house and watch professional fights on TV when they were actually free, and it was something that I would try to mimic the fighters on TV, and then my uncles would kind of hype it up and say, hey, look, check those moves out. And that, you know, it's just something that I did to kind of impress my dad and his brothers.
That's great. So what would you say 3 things are that you would like to tell everyone about boxing?
Well, the 3 things I love about boxing so much is, one is the discipline. I mean, you really have to train hard in order to become a fighter, and to be a fighter, it's something that's constant, it's every day. There is really no off season when it comes to fighting, and that's what I like about it so much.
And that's something that we don't really think about.
Yeah, it's really vigorous. I mean, you really have to be dedicated to the sport to actually be a fighter. We're really not, as humans, we're not made to fight, so in order to train your body to do so, you have to be really disciplined. That's why I like it so much. It's about who you are and what you can do, and boxing kind of pushes you to the limit to do that.
Well, it's a lot of mental work.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the mental fortitude is more so what I like about it, because again, it's about the discipline. If we're not up every day training, it's, you know, your opponent can be, so you have to mentally train yourself to be tough as well.
Awesome. What else can you tell me about boxing?
Well, I mean, it's for everybody. That's what I like about it so much. I've always been the guy that was kind of too small for the basketball team and not fast enough for the football team, even though I did both sports. But I mean, I kind of found a home in boxing because it was something that I felt it was all on me. I was really never a person that took to team sports too well. And then even in a team atmosphere, you have that individualness with boxing, which is what I love about it.
So what you had said, and this is really great, it can actually work with any sport, when
Absolutely.
During the off season.
Absolutely, during the off season. That's what I like. I mean, I have worked with football players, soccer players, all kinds of sports where the hand-eye coordination is more so where some of the sports, they don't go over that stuff, where it's either one side or the other, and that's what I like about boxing. It incorporates everything about your body.
Well, that was so good for me, the coordination.
and that's what's so good about it. That's why I love the sweet science, because it's more so about the melodic kind of dance aspect of boxing that I crave, because then you can put your music on, get in the zone, and really get a really good workout out of it.
It's certainly full body.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, Noel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go away, because Noel is going to come back with some mitt demonstrations for us.
Free Communication Weekend, that's how I started on eHarmony. You get to communicate with your matches for free. Being able to see who I was going to get matched with and communicate with them was a really good introduction.
This weekend, you can message your matches for free. It's the first step in finding that perfect person for you. So, message your matches for free.
If I had to use one word to describe the moment I knew he was the one, it would be magical.
Message your matches for free now through Monday only. No credit card required.
It's AARP. Let me just...
Wait, are you joining AARP?
Actually, I just did.
Really? I didn't think we were ready for AARP. Is it worth it?
Well, just today, I saved on concert tickets, read a great article on investing, found a sweet travel deal, used the caregiver finder for my dad, and done. Discounted movie tickets.
If you don't think instant benefits when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Join today for just $12 and get discounts. So many ways to save. Instant resources and just the right offers find you at just the right time. Plus, as a member, your voice will be heard. Join today for just $12. It's not too soon.
Call 1-800-440-1303.
And join AARP for just $12 for your first year. You'll also get this travel bag free.
Call 1-800-440-1303.
Or visit tryaarp.org.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetzy. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Call Health Markets today at 1-800-951-8406. That's 1-800-951-8406.
Attention those implanted with a hernia surgical mesh. If you have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement, listen closely. Some have experienced infection, chronic pain, mesh failure, and other complications after being implanted with a hernia mesh device. Because of this, some of these mesh devices have been recalled by the FDA, but devices are still being used and may cause serious complications. If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. If you or a loved one have experienced any of these issues after the implantation of a physio mesh or a selection of other common hernia meshes, your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-718-3497.
I'm not the most coordinated person you would know. So from my point of view, it's not the physical activity of the training that was the most challenging, as tough as they are. It's making it all happen in sync. So Noel, even though you're one of my favorite coaches here at Title, you also train professional and amateur boxers.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about their workouts?
Well, their workouts are the most trying, and it comes up part where the discipline is a major role in it, because there's a lot of downtime by yourself as a fighter where you're training yourself. I mean, they have to get up every morning and do at least a 3-mile run.
Every day?
Every day, every day. That's, like I said, there's no off season, so that's one of the things where, as a disciplined fighter, you're up, you're doing road work. After that, they're in the gym, I would say at least 3 to 4 hours a day.
Wow.
Start off with a jump rope. I really don't look at my fighters until they jump rope for at least 15 minutes. They come in, they do about a shadow box for about 3 to 4 rounds, and then we're on the bags and doing mitt work for a good portion of the workout. Every day it's a little bit different. Sometimes we're working out in the ring doing mitt work and some drills. Other days they're out sparring where they're actually getting hit, which is, again, part of the game. So.
Now the mitt demonstrations are
Sure.
challenging for me. Can
Okay.
you explain what you do?
Well, we try to do everything just as a fighter would. We get them up in their fight stands, have their hands up, and call combinations. I like to call the combinations by name and number. Some people just run their numbers a little bit differently than I do, but it's a little bit better to actually get the cadence of the punches. The way I like to teach the fighting is a very melodic kind of cadence type of style, and it kind of helps with the fighters that way.
So now, how young do you start training?
I usually start them about 7 years old on up. Anything younger than that, it's really hard to keep them as far as attentive, but anywhere from 7 on up, I have fighters that range anywhere from 7 to 60, and we all work out together, which is pretty cool.
Okay, oh great. Like you say, finish strong.
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Noel. Not just boxing, we spend a lot of time on our feet. And sore feet can be more debilitating than a bad headache and can certainly stop you in your tracks. Dr. Lauren provides a surprising remedy when I put the question of sore feet to her.
Plantar fasciitis is a painful disorder of the bottom of the foot. It's also very common. This fascia, or a thick band, holds all the bones of your foot together, as well as provides your body with shock absorption. One of the main reasons that people get plantar fasciitis is improper footwear. This will cause a lot of swelling, irritation, pain, and tightness on the bottom of the foot. If left untreated, this tightness will pull on the heel and actually create a heel spur. It's important that you actually stretch out the bottom of your foot and wear proper footwear. If you're experiencing pain on the bottom of your foot, especially in the morning times or upon rising from your desk, if you do experience this, I've got a great tip for you. I want you to purchase a Coca-Cola bottle. You can see it has a nice hourglass shape to it. Remove the soda and fill it up with water, and then put it in the freezer. Once frozen, sit at a chair with a hard floor and put the arch of your foot or the big toe towards the mouth of the Coca-Cola bottle. Apply a decent amount of pressure and roll it, and you can see that that shape of the soda bottle will conform right to the shape of your foot. It's going to reduce the swelling because of the ice, as well as break up scar tissue. And this has been your tip of the day. I'm Dr. Lauren Schofield from Advanced Chiropractic Wellness Center.
When we come back, Chef Dan Marola with a new recipe. Don't forget you can get the new recipe and all of our past recipes on our website, myfitnessrx.net.
College is great, but before you enroll, which do you think is a better way to earn your degree? Live on campus in a dorm where you can't sleep, with a roommate you can't stand, attend lectures that you can't hear, with cafeteria food that you can't eat, or learn online at Independence University. On the porch with your puppy, in the kitchen with your kitten, on your bed with your bunny, your campus is wherever you want it to be. Heck, you could earn your degree while wearing your PJs or while eating BLT with your baby, because you don't go to college. College goes to you. Complete your courses around your schedule. That's independence. That's Independence University. No alarm clocks, no snoring roommate, no loud parties keeping you up all night, no note on your door telling you to sleep somewhere else. Instead, learn online at Independence University. Get your degree, but keep your life. And you'll also get a laptop and tablet to use in school, and you can keep them when you graduate. Learn online from professional instructors with real work experience. You get professional support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Independence U, for an independent you.
1-800-739-7460.
Eating healthy does not mean eating bland and boring. Simple, fresh ingredients with an executive chef's touch can make for an unforgettable dinner.
Hello, I'm Dan Marola, the chef here at Roots Cafe. Today I'm going to be preparing for you a chicken breast with farro and a poblano coulis. So I got my pan warm. I promise that's warm. Just going to season my chicken with salt and pepper. About a 6 or 7 ounce piece there. You want to serve most pieces of meat that you sell or are plating. You want to serve it up the side that you sear. So I'm searing it on this side because that's the side that's going to be served up. So sear that side first. In the meantime, I'm going to get my farro heated up. In here I have some mirepoix, carrots, celery, and onions with a little tomato paste and some farro and a little bit of chicken stock. A little bit of water. The farro will absorb that. And when you're cooking with olive oil, especially searing meats, I tend to use, moderately high heat, not too high, because it has a higher smoke point. So you don't want your food to burn when you're using olive oil. So try not to blast it. Just let that hang out for a second until it gets nice and golden brown. What you could even do to speed up the process a bit is take a little lid like this, or if you don't have one of these at home, you can always take a smaller pan, just put it right over the chicken. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it kind of just lets that heat circulate and it helps it cook a little bit faster. I'm actually going to go with the lid. Farro is warm. Put that aside. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit of water. Just making sure the seasoning is good, and it is. That's tasty. We, in our farro here, we have some Cajun seasoning. There's paprika, some onion powder, garlic powder, some dried herbs, salt and pepper. It's a good little blend to get a lot of flavor into whatever it is. You want to season meat, put it in rice, farro. I'm just going to get this going. There's our chicken. I like to get a glove. This is a hot piece of chicken, so this will give me a little bit more protection here. And slice it on the bias. Serve it right over top of the farro. We have our poblano coulis here. This is some poblanos, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and some other seasonings. And then just for garnish, we have our High Hill Hydro microgreens. These come from our friends over, they're right down the street actually on, I think in West Goshen area. His name is Jeff Gressel. He's great, and these are beautiful. There's your Cajun farro with chicken.
Still to come, Coach Diane in eliminating our limiting beliefs and the exercise of the week.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. Call 800-715-0406 right now to see if you qualify. These professional-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, spinal disorders, stenosis, and other painful back problems. Our medical-grade durable knee braces are designed for those with osteoarthritis and general knee pain and weakness. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork, and best of all, your braces shipped directly to your home for free. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out. Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-715-0406. That's 800-715-0406.
Can we do things unconsciously that actually limit us or hold us back from being happy and positive?
Absolutely. You know, we live 95% of our lives being unconscious.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. We get up in the morning, we do the same things over and over again. We go through our lives thinking we can't do things. We go to work, we come home, we're tired, we eat dinner, we wait on the couch to go to bed, then we get up the next day, we do the same thing over and over again. That is living your life unconsciously.
So how do we change that?
You wake up. You decide that you are no longer going to have these limiting beliefs that hold you back from your true potential.
What exactly are limiting beliefs?
This is a belief like, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to have enough money. I'm never going to lose this weight. Oh, I can't stop smoking. I'm just addicted to smoking. All of those things. Your body, you are filled with infinite possibilities. There should be no limitations at all.
So they're almost like our negative self-talk.
They're our negative self-talk, which we do. We have 70,000 beliefs, thoughts that we go through each day, and 90% of those we believe are negative thoughts.
That's an unbelievable statistic.
It's pretty amazing.
Diane.
Pretty amazing.
So, we can do that with a process. How do we start that process?
Well, the first thing you want to do is really take a look at yourself and what are the beliefs. Pick one. Pick one limiting belief that you have. Write it down. And then think about how that limiting belief makes you feel.
Okay, so let's do lose weight, because almost everybody wants to lose weight.
Can't lose weight. I'm limited because of my genetics. Write it down. It's a limiting belief you have. Now, when you really think about, say those words, I can't lose weight, let's say because of my genetics. How does that make you feel? Attach an emotion. It's going to be a negative emotion. It's going to be fear or frustration. Think about that. Now, I want you to think about your future. What would your life be like if you were at your ideal body weight? How would you feel in that moment if you were at your ideal body weight? Think about the empowerment, the good posture, the self-confidence, and then I want you to continue to think about that as you go through your day-to-day and act as if that is who you are, because that is really who you are.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love that game plan, Diane.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're out of time. Here's Tracy with our exercise of the week, sumo squats. Be fit, be healthy, be happy.